Good evening. We all face moments when we question whether it's worth continuing. We hit roadblocks, face setbacks, and encounter challenges that seem impossible to overcome. In those moments, the instinct is often to stop, to give in, and to believe that maybe we've come to the end of our journey. But what if I told you that the key to overcoming any challenge isn't just pushing through the pain, but understanding why we must keep going? The truth is, we are driven by a deeper purpose, something bigger than any obstacle we face. The reason we must keep going isn't simply because the path is easy, or because the reward is always immediate. We must keep going because the why behind our efforts, the purpose that fuels us, is far more powerful than any challenge that may come our way. When you understand your purpose, you can navigate the darkest days. Purpose doesn't guarantee you won't face difficulties. In fact, it often means you'll face even harder trials. But what purpose does is this: it gives you a reason to move forward even when you don't feel like it. It reminds you that every step, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. Think about the times when you've seen others push through adversity. What drives them to continue? Is it sheer willpower? Maybe, but more often, it's the belief in something larger than themselves. It's the understanding that their actions matter, both to themselves and to those around them. When we find our why, when we connect to the reason we started, we suddenly realize that stopping is no longer an option. Not because it's easy, but because what we're doing is meaningful. That meaning fuels us in ways that force and willpower alone never could. So, when the days get tough, when you're questioning whether it's worth it, I want you to ask yourself this: why did I start? And then remember that the journey, the struggle, and the perseverance to keep going all connect to that purpose. If we truly believe in what we're doing, then quitting is never an option. The challenge is not the enemy. The challenge is simply the test to see if we're willing to trust the process and the purpose we've set before us. And if we believe in that purpose enough, then we will find the strength to keep going, no matter what. So, the next time you face a challenge, remind yourself, I must keep going. Not because it's easy, but because it's meaningful, and that is a reason worth fighting for. Purpose is a powerful force that drives us forward, especially when the road gets tough. It's not just a vague concept or an abstract idea, but a fundamental motivator that gives us the strength to persevere through challenges. When we face obstacles, when we hit roadblocks that seem insurmountable, the question isn't about whether we are strong enough to continue, it's about whether we have something deep enough to push us through. The reason we must keep going is because we are motivated by something far greater than the immediate task or the present difficulty. We are moved by a purpose that transcends the moment and keeps us anchored in something meaningful. This purpose gives us direction. Without it, we are like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly in the sea of uncertainty. But when we know why we are doing something, it changes everything. It makes the challenges we face feel more like stepping stones rather than insurmountable barriers. Purpose provides clarity. It allows us to see past the obstacles and keep our eyes on the bigger picture. When our why is clear, we don't just see the struggle we're in, we see the reason for it. We understand that the difficulty is not the enemy but a necessary part of our growth. It becomes something we learn to navigate rather than something we fear. Moreover, purpose connects us to something beyond ourselves. It's easy to get bogged down by personal frustration and doubt when we think only about how the challenge affects us individually. But when we remember that our actions, no matter how small, ripple out and affect others, it changes our perspective. We begin to see our work as a contribution to something larger. The struggle becomes part of a greater narrative, one in which our efforts matter, not just for us, but for the people who depend on us, or for the world that needs what we are offering. Whether it's the impact on our families, our communities, or even just a personal sense of fulfillment, purpose is what keeps us moving forward when everything else feels like it's falling apart. When things get hard, we may not always feel like we have the strength to go on. There may be days when it feels like the weight of the world is too much to bear, but this is exactly when purpose becomes most powerful. In those moments, purpose is what gives us the courage to keep going, even when every fiber of our being is telling us to stop. It's the quiet voice that whispers, "You can do this. You have to do this." And it's not just a motivational phrase, it's a call to something larger than ourselves. It reminds us that every step we take is one step closer to fulfilling the purpose we've set out to achieve. Purpose also transforms how we experience failure. When we lack purpose, failure can feel like the end. It can make us question our worth, our abilities, and our future. But with purpose, failure becomes a lesson, necessary part of the process. It's not something that defines us, but something that refines us. When we are connected to our purpose, failure becomes a tool for growth, not a reason to quit. We understand that it's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning how to navigate it and keep moving forward despite it. In the end, we must keep going not because the journey is easy or free from hardship, but because we have a purpose that is worth the effort. It's this purpose that sustains us, guides us, and ultimately makes everything we go through worthwhile. Obstacles are an inherent part of any meaningful journey, no matter how clear our purpose is or how determined we are to reach our goals. There will inevitably be moments when the path ahead feels blocked. The challenges seem insurmountable, and the progress we hope for appears out of reach. It's in these moments of adversity that many people feel the most tempted to stop, to give up, or to believe that the difficulty is a sign that they're not meant to continue. But the truth is, obstacles are not the end of the journey, they are simply part of it. They are the tests that help us grow, the hurdles that force us to evolve, and the proof that we are on the right path. Obstacles are not always external. Sometimes the biggest challenge we face is within ourselves. Doubts, fears, and insecurities creep in, making us question whether we are capable of moving forward. We wonder if we have what it takes, if the struggle is too great, or if we're simply not cut out for what we've set out to do. But these internal obstacles are just as much a part of the process as any external challenge we might face. They are the natural response to pushing beyond our comfort zones, the mind's way of trying to protect us from uncertainty. In those moments, we must recognize that these doubts are not signals to stop, but reminders that we are growing, that we are pushing our boundaries, and that we are doing something worth doing. The key to navigating obstacles is not to see them as barriers, but as opportunities. Every challenge we face has the potential to teach us something valuable. It can help us refine our skills, build resilience, or discover new solutions to problems we hadn't considered before. In fact, often the obstacles we face are the very things that shape us into the people we need to become in order to achieve our goals. If everything were easy, we wouldn't grow. We would simply go through the motions without being tested, without being pushed to become better versions of ourselves. The obstacles we encounter force us to innovate, adapt, and find new ways of thinking. They test our commitment, our creativity, and our determination. And as difficult as they are in the moment, they are the experiences that prepare us for the larger challenges ahead. When we look back at the moments in our lives when we felt the most defeated, we often realize that it wasn't the difficulty itself that mattered so much, but how we chose to respond to it. In many cases, the most successful people are those who have faced the most obstacles, not because they were immune to them, but because they learned to persevere through them. They didn't let the obstacles define their journey. They allowed those very obstacles to fuel their progress. The key difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of struggle, but the resilience to keep going despite it. Obstacles also have a way of refining our vision. When things are easy, it's easy to stay motivated. But when we face real difficulty, it forces us to clarify why we started in the first place. It challenges us to reevaluate our priorities, strengthen our resolve, and reaffirm our purpose. It's in overcoming these challenges that we truly understand the value of the journey. Without obstacles, we might never realize the full extent of our potential or discover the depths of our determination. In the end, obstacles are not something to fear or avoid. They are a natural part of the process, and they provide the grit and resilience necessary to turn our goals into reality. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, we must view them as essential milestones on our path. They don't define us, they shape us, and it's in overcoming them that we learn not just how to achieve our dreams, but how to become the kind of person capable of achieving them. So, when obstacles appear, rather than seeing them as a reason to stop, we should see them as a reminder to keep going, because the journey is not meant to be easy. It's meant to be transformative. Understanding why we started something is one of the most powerful tools we have when facing adversity. When we encounter obstacles or moments of doubt, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture and get consumed by the immediate challenges in front of us. Our goals may feel distant, the effort may feel exhausting, and the end result may seem uncertain. But it is in these moments that remembering our why the deeper reason behind why we embarked on this journey in the first place becomes essential. Our why is the anchor that keeps us grounded when everything else feels uncertain. At its core, our why is our sense of purpose. It's the vision that drove us to start this journey, the underlying belief or passion that sparked our desire to achieve something meaningful. It's personal, unique to each of us, and often rooted in our values, our dreams, and our desire to make a difference. This is what separates a simple task from a truly meaningful pursuit. When we connect to a greater purpose, our actions become infused with significance. When we forget or lose sight of our why the process becomes just a series of tasks to check off, and the energy we once had begins to dissipate. The challenge becomes just a roadblock in the way, something to overcome without much thought about why it matters in the first place. But when we are connected to our why the perspective shifts entirely. The obstacles, the setbacks, and the struggles no longer feel like insurmountable problems. They become part of the process, essential experiences that are necessary to move forward. In essence, remembering why we started allows us to frame challenges as part of a larger narrative, one that connects the present struggle to the meaningful end goal. For example, if you're pursuing a career in medicine, it's easy to get lost in the long hours of studying, the pressure of exams, and the overwhelming nature of the profession. In these moments, the why might get clouded by exhaustion and stress. But when you remind yourself that you are doing this to help people, to make a tangible difference in someone's life, the challenges become secondary. You remember that each test, each late night, and each challenge is an investment in your ability to fulfill that purpose. Your why the reason you started this journey in the first place, is the fuel that reignites your determination and guides you through the most difficult moments. Similarly, when pursuing personal goals, like improving your health or building a business, the immediate hurdles can feel discouraging. Maybe the progress isn't as fast as you hoped, or the work seems endless. But remembering your why whether it's to feel better physically, to build something meaningful, or to provide for your loved ones, gives you the resilience to push through. The why helps you focus on the larger vision, reminding you that every setback is a stepping stone, not the end of the road. It's a reminder that growth takes time, that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. The why also gives us perspective when we face failure. Failure is a natural part of any process, but it can often feel like a devastating setback. Without a clear sense of purpose, failure can be demoralizing, causing us to question whether we're capable of achieving our goals. However, when we connect to our why failure becomes an opportunity for growth rather than a sign of defeat. It's easier to learn from our mistakes and adjust our course because we know that the pursuit of our why is worth the effort. Our why allows us to see that failure is not the end. It's a lesson on the road to success. It is a part of the journey that strengthens us, teaches us, and ultimately propels us forward. Ultimately, our why is the force that keeps us going when everything else feels like it's falling apart. It's what makes us rise each time we fall, and it's what helps us find meaning in even the hardest of days. When we connect deeply to our purpose and our reason for starting, we find the energy, clarity, and drive we need to keep pushing forward, no matter how difficult the road ahead might seem. The asterisk Y asterisk is the compass that guides us through the storms, and as long as we stay connected to it, we will always have a reason to keep going. When we talk about success, we often think about willpower, the raw strength to push through the hardest times, the grit to persevere against the odds. Willpower is undoubtedly important, but it's not the only or even the most sustainable force that drives us. What truly makes us keep going when the going gets tough is the deeper belief that what we are doing is meaningful. It's the connection to something larger than ourselves that gives us the strength to continue, even when sheer determination alone seems to fall short. When we approach a challenge purely through the lens of willpower, we are relying on our ability to muscle through, often with little consideration for why we are doing it. While willpower can get us through short bursts of difficulty, it is finite. It's a resource that depletes over time, especially when the challenges feel endless or insurmountable. When willpower runs low, it's easy to burn out, feel discouraged, or give up. However, when we focus on meaning, when we connect our actions to a greater purpose, the drive to continue becomes more sustainable. Meaning infuses our actions with energy that goes beyond mere physical or mental strength. It becomes a powerful motivator that can carry us through the longest, most challenging of journeys. When we are driven by meaning, the obstacles we face are not just things to overcome. They are part of a larger story we are telling with our lives. The struggle becomes a significant chapter in a narrative that is deeply personal. This sense of meaning gives our actions context and makes them matter in ways that simple willpower cannot. For example, let's say you're working to build a business. At first, you might be motivated by the thrill of entrepreneurship, the excitement of starting something new. But as time goes on, the challenges mount: financial struggles, self-doubt, unexpected setbacks. If you continue solely on willpower, you may find yourself exhausted and disheartened. However, if you remember why you started the business in the first place, whether it was to create something that serves others, to provide for your family, or to fulfill a personal dream, the difficulties feel less like insurmountable obstacles and more like tests that will eventually bring you closer to your purpose. Meaning connects us to our deepest values. It reminds us that the things we're working toward are not just for the sake of accomplishment, but because they are aligned with who we are at our core. Meaning acts as a touchstone. When we lose sight of it, we simply need to return to our why and reconnect to the values that guide us. This connection to our deeper purpose is what makes the journey worthwhile. It transforms the mundane tasks and hard moments into steps towards something that is fundamentally important to us. We find fulfillment not just in the destination, but in the process itself, because we know it matters. The power of meaning also lies in its ability to push us through failure. Willpower alone can make us keep going in the face of failure, but it's meaning that helps us learn from it. When we fail, it's easy to feel disheartened and to lose sight of why we started. But if we are connected to something greater, that failure doesn't feel like the end. Instead, it becomes a lesson, an opportunity to grow and adapt. Meaning allows us to view failure not as a reflection of our inadequacies, but as a necessary part of the process, a challenge that will ultimately bring us closer to our goals. It gives us the resilience to pick ourselves up, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward. Meaning also provides perspective. It allows us to see the bigger picture, to understand that the difficulty we're experiencing is temporary, but the impact we can have through our efforts is lasting. When we are driven by meaning, we are no longer just focused on getting through the moment. We are focused on creating something that matters, on contributing to a cause larger than ourselves. This perspective shifts how we approach every challenge. Instead of viewing it as an obstacle in our way, we begin to see it as an essential step in achieving something truly valuable. Ultimately, it's meaning, not just willpower, that sustains us over the long haul. While willpower can help us push through the difficult moments, it's the connection to a deeper purpose that gives us the energy, resilience, and motivation to keep going. When we act with meaning, we don't just get through the hard times, we thrive in them, because we know that the work we're doing is not just about the outcome, but about the impact it has on our lives and the lives of others. And that is a power far greater than any amount of willpower alone. When we commit to something meaningful, quitting becomes an option we can no longer entertain. This is not because we lack the ability to stop or because the path is easy. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When we are truly committed to our goals and to a purpose larger than ourselves, quitting is simply not aligned with the values we've chosen to live by. The decision to keep going is rooted not in the absence of difficulties, but in the understanding that what we are pursuing is worth every ounce of effort. It is natural to encounter moments where we feel overwhelmed or exhausted, and we might be tempted to throw in the towel. The road may seem too long, the obstacles may seem too numerous, and the progress might feel painfully slow. But this is exactly when the decision to keep going matters the most. Quitting is an easy way out, a quick solution to avoid discomfort, but it's a solution that comes with long-term consequences. When we quit, we give up the potential to grow, to overcome, and to achieve something greater than what we thought possible. Quitting may offer temporary relief, but it leaves us with regret, unfinished dreams, and the knowledge that we gave up before we could reach the finish line. But when we are truly committed to our why quitting no longer feels like an option. The purpose behind our actions becomes a guiding force that helps us push through even the toughest times. We realize that the discomfort we feel in the moment is not the end of the story. It's simply a part of the journey. The challenges we face are the tests that help us grow and the obstacles that refine our character. In the face of adversity, it's the sense of purpose that makes quitting irrelevant. We understand that the struggle is not something to avoid. It's something to embrace because it's through struggle that we are refined and made stronger. The power of commitment is that it shifts our mindset from seeing difficulties as signs to stop, to seeing them as necessary steps toward progress. Each setback, each failure, and each moment of doubt becomes an opportunity to learn and to adapt. When we choose not to quit, we make a powerful statement. We are willing to do whatever it takes to see this through. This commitment fuels our resilience. It makes us relentless in our pursuit of our goals, not because we are unaffected by challenges, but because we understand that our commitment to the larger picture is greater than any momentary frustration or setback. Commitment also means we are in it for the long haul. Success is not a quick fix, and achieving anything worthwhile rarely happens overnight. It's a series of small steps, some of which may feel insignificant in the moment, but are essential in getting us closer to where we want to be. If we quit after every setback, we will never experience the transformation that happens when we push through. The commitment to keep going teaches us to trust the process, to believe that progress is happening even when we cannot immediately see it. The journey, with all its challenges and setbacks, is what makes the destination worthwhile. Moreover, staying committed and refusing to quit builds confidence and self-trust. Each time we overcome a challenge, we reinforce the belief in our own abilities. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling adversity, that we are stronger than we might have previously realized. This confidence doesn't come from avoiding difficulties. It comes from confronting them, from persisting despite them, and from realizing that we are capable of much more than we initially thought. As we continue to push forward, our sense of self-worth and our belief in our ability to succeed grows. Quitting would rob us of this growth. Another reason why quitting isn't an option when we're committed is that it often has a ripple effect. Our decisions, our persistence, and our resilience influence those around us, whether they are our families, teams, friends, or communities. By choosing not to quit, we show others what is possible when we are dedicated to a purpose. Our actions inspire others to keep going, to push through their own challenges, and to stay committed to their goals as well. The ripple effect of commitment extends far beyond ourselves, positively impacting those who look up to us or who are walking similar paths. Ultimately, when we are aligned with a purpose, quitting is no longer just an option. It's an impossibility. It's not because we're invincible or because the path is easy, but because we understand that every challenge is a step towards something greater. We are driven by the knowledge that the rewards of staying committed far outweigh the temporary relief that comes from walking away. It's this deep commitment that keeps us moving forward, even when the road gets tough, and it's what ultimately leads us to the fulfillment of our dreams and goals. When we commit to our purpose and refuse to quit, we not only achieve success, but also become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws our way.